Now revealing more about the attacks on U.S. targets across the region over the last week. The Pentagon now says there were 13 attacks on U.S. targets and that 24 U.S. troops suffered minor injuries. The U.S. believes Iran is helping to fund these attacks. And at the UN today, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken warning Iran. Here's what he said.
We do not want this war to widen. But if Iran or its proxies attack U.S. personnel anywhere, make no mistake, we will defend our people, we will defend our security, swiftly and decisively.
So let's bring in our Chief Global Affairs Correspondent, Martha Raddatz, with us live in Washington. Martha, what are your sources telling you tonight about Iran and about U.S. efforts, this show of force across the Middle East?
Well, David, the U.S. is rushing additional warships, fighter jets, and missile defense systems to the region in case this war widens. Already in the past 8 days, the Pentagon says Iranian-backed proxies have launched attacks on American troops in Iraq and Syria more than a dozen times. And as you mentioned, those attacks injured 24 U.S. troops. Thankfully, those injuries were all minor. But a U.S. official telling me the Pentagon is now weighing military options against those proxy forces. The Pentagon also preparing for the possible evacuation of U.S. citizens from Israel and the Middle East. There are hundreds of thousands of Americans living in the region. David?
All right, Martha.
Hashem Yahushai, Waha, Raha, Kodash, all praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors and respect go to our apostles, our elders, and our teachers, the men of great millstone. To you I say shalom. It's your brother, I'm Ryan. Let's get into it. This article here speaks for itself. It says U.S. strikes back at Iranian-backed groups that attack troops in Iraq and Syria, Pentagon says. Okay. Now, if you're not knowing, if you haven't been keeping up with the news that has been going on as of late, you have wars and rumors of wars, and this is definitely looking like this is getting very interesting over here in the Middle East, as they call it. Okay. Now, the article goes on to say, U.S. military aircraft have carried out strikes in eastern Syria against facilities associated with Iranian-backed militant groups believed to be responsible for more than a dozen rocket and drone attacks on American troops in Iraq and Syria that injured 21 service members, the military said Thursday. Salakin. It says, quote, today at President Biden's direction, U.S. military forces conducted self-defense strikes on 2 facilities in eastern Syria used by Iraq Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and affiliated groups, said Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in a statement. It goes on to say, these precision self-defense strikes are a response to a series of ongoing and mostly unsuccessful attacks against U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria by Iranian-backed militia groups that began on October 17. The president has no higher priority than the safety of U.S. personnel, and he directed today's action to make clear that the United States will not tolerate such attacks and will defend itself, its personnel, and its interests. Okay? And you can find this news article titled U.S. Strikes Back at Iranian-Backed Groups on abcnews.com, okay? abcnews.go.com. But let's see what the scriptures have to say about it. Okay, we're starting to see some movement on these prophecies, okay? And the Lord truly is gathering the nations down into the valley of Jehoshaphat as we speak. All of these skirmishes and little wars and things that are kicking off, they are pretty much indicating that these prophecies are coming to life, okay? This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time. And what this is talking about, in those days, in the latter days. And in what time? In the time of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's judgment. And Yahweh's whom you ignorantly call God, Yahushai is his son, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, right? Verse 1 again, it says, for behold, in those days and in that time will I, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. And Judah and Jerusalem are a people before it is a place. Verse 2, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Right. Okay. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Our Redeemer, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, our Redeemer is strong and is looking to plead with the nations. And if you understand what he means by plead, let's just take a quick little detour. This is Isaiah chapter 66. Give me a moment. And I'll show you what this is going to do is show you exactly how the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai pleads, right? This is Isaiah 66 and verse 16. It says, for by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many, right? So what you must understand when he says he's going to plead with them, by fire and by sword, by weapons, will the Lord plead with them, okay? So again, verse 2, Joel chapter 3, verse 2, I will gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And let's just see what Jehoshaphat means.
Strong's H 3092. Jehoshaphat.
And
Jehoshaphat.
it quite literally means Yahweh has judged. So in the valley of Yahweh's judgment is he going to gather the nations and plead with fire and sword with all flesh. Okay. Now it goes on to tell you what has happened. Okay. And a lot of people don't know this history is even in the Bible, but let's continue reading a little bit because I'm going to go back to Joel chapter 2 here in a moment. But it says, and they have cast lots for my people, right? All those who are in possession of the nation of Israel, and have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine, right? Now, catch the name Palestine, because obviously there's a skirmish going on right now in the Gaza Strip with Palestinians. And Tyre and Zidon are Hamites, okay? Palestine, in this case, may be referring to Hamites as well. I have to do a little research on that. But the modern-day Palestinians are the sons of Ishmael. But verse 4 again, yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their borders. Right. So what this is saying is the Africans, okay, and the Ishmaelites have sold the children of Judah and Jerusalem, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, into the hands of the Grecians, the so-called white man, the self-proclaimed white man that rules in the world today. They are known in the Bible as Idumea, Edom, Esau, Grecians, Romans, etc. Okay, so they have sold you to the so-called white man that you might be removed far from your border. Okay, and it says, verse 7, behold, I will raise them out of the place whither you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. Okay, now you can go on to read the rest of this very, very edifying chapter, but I wanted to get a different point, because as you understand, what this is about is the controversy of Zion, them mistreating the children of Israel. Okay, now it goes on to say that he will, it doesn't go on to say Salakia, but it previously said that he will plead with all flesh in the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh's judgment. And as we know, the Lord pleads with fire and sword. So you must understand what is truly transpiring is these prophecies are coming to life as we speak. Okay? This is Joel chapter 2, and verse 1 is where I'll begin. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion. And we are sounding the alarm. We're letting people know we are at the last seconds of the last days. If you are of the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, now is the time for you to repent, because the Lord is going to bring devastation like you have never seen before, ever. Okay? Joel chapter 2, verse 1, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Right. And that's what these wars and these little skirmishes are representing. The day of Yahweh's judgment is at hand. Verse 2, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. As the morning spreads upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Okay? Excuse me. Verse 3, a fire, because this is how the Lord is going to plead with these nations down in the valley of Jehoshaphat, with ICBM missiles, nuclear warfare, all manner of military weapons are going to be brought out for this judgment. And we're seeing the beginning of it kick off as we speak. Okay? Now, we must remind you that before World War III can begin, before the true day of the Lord can come, the MOT to the beast spoken of in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 must come to pass. You must receive the mark of the beast in your hand in the form of the C-hip or in your forehead. And then the Lord can kick off the final stage of this plan. But let's continue reading. Verse 3, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. This is talking about those nuclear weapons that are going to be drawn out for the Lord's judgment in these last days. Okay? Verse 4, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Right. Verse 6, before their face the people shall be much pain, and all faces shall gather blackness, because they're going to be shitting their pants. You will know that there will be no escape. You will know that there shall be no escaping this, what is coming. Okay, once the Lord kicks this judgment off, you can pretty much kiss your ass goodbye. So yes, people are going to be in pain, faces turned to blackness, stuck like a deer in the headlights. Verse 7, they, meaning the missiles, shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like a men of war, and they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. Okay? They're not going to be all clumsy and shit running into each other. They're going to hit specific targets with precision. Verse 8, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Right? It doesn't matter what's in their path. They're going to devour much flesh. They're going to devour much machinery, because this is the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You are witnessing it come to pass right before your eyes. Okay? We are in the last seconds of the last days. The Lord is going to destroy this man's kingdom, and by this man I mean the nation of Esau, Edom, that ruleth in the world today, the self-proclaimed white man. He is going to destroy this man's kingdom, remove him out of rulership. And when the Son of Yahweh returns, whom you ignorantly recognize as Jesus, whom his name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai, when he returns, he is going to kick off a new world, a new government in righteousness that will be ran in part by the nation of Israel. Okay? And when I say ran, I mean, obviously Yahweh Shai is going to be in charge. King David, there will be structure. All things will be done decently and in order. But he will have his 144,000 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes running his righteous government, okay? And this is what is coming. So if you're not knowing, this now is the time, if you are of the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, and confusion of faces, now is the time to repent, fully repent, turn back onto your power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, if you stand any chance of surviving what is coming, okay? And we, for one, are ecstatic about what is about to come, okay? Read Joel, the entire chapter. It is a very vivid visitation and explanation of what is coming, okay? Hopefully this has been edifying. I want to say, call halal la Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for this lesson. Until the next time, Shalom.